essay. What is the last one called? Let's see if anybody knows this. Mahea? Yes. The last paragraph is the conclusion. And the last one, conclusion. Do you know about how many sentences the conclusion needs to be? How many? How many would you say, Charlie? About 2.
2 to 3.
You don't need 2 to 3 sentences. You could write a little bit more if you wish. But when it comes time to conclude, just stop talking, stop writing. Bring things to an end. We're going to divide the snowman's feet into 2 parts, so you can kind of remember there that the snowman has 2 feet, and it's about 2 sentences. One of them is going to tell, what do you want the reader to remember a year from now? That means long term. What do you want the reader to remember? And what should the other one tell? Do you remember? What should the other one tell? Maddie, do you want to say? It does leave them thinking, but you shouldn't end with a question, because we're summing it up, so no questions. What do you think, Noah?
It makes them think about what you wrote, and but it also kind of pushes them to think that that you were correct.
Okay.
Everything you wrote down is correct.
Exactly. So maybe you should summarize. The other one, you should summarize briefly, like in 1 sentence. Summarize your proof. What you talked about, it might be up in the, proof is kind of hard to see there, but the conclusion needs to do both of those things. So it needs to summarize your proof really briefly, and it gives them something to think about. You could write that down there too. You could give them something to think about. But do not ask any questions in your conclusion. You're writing an essay to prove a point, so you don't want to ask any questions at the end. If you have any questions, ask them earlier, but actually an essay is for you to answer questions, not to ask them. Charlie?
I got a question.
Okay, very good.
If you're going to restate your thesis,
We used to say that all the time, and now the summarize, you should summarize your proof or summarize your thesis. That's what you do now. As you get older, it's a little bit different. As you get older, how you write in the 6th grade is different from how you're going to start writing in the 7th grade. And it's different every year. You make things you tighten up your writing style, and you go into a little bit more detail. And by the time you're in 12th grade writing an extended essay, you will be prepared. So every year the writing gets a little bit tougher and not so simplistic with the directions. Do you see how it's going, Maddie?
Would you also be able to reword your thesis?
You may. Not using the same words. Say it in another way. Say your thesis in another way. You can reword it, but don't use the same words. Okay? But that's a good idea. That's a good idea. We're going to be writing an essay, and these are the parts. Last year, some students told me we should add the hat. What do you think goes in the hat? What's the hat for? Why would we have a hat? Who can guess what might in the world be in there? Evan, do you know?
yes, like the brainstorming ideas.
We should definitely brainstorm ideas. Isaac, what were you going to say?
The title.
The title. But we should definitely brainstorm ideas. We should do that on his arms. We should brainstorm ideas out here. We should brainstorm some ideas out here. These are your ideas. And when you're writing, we shouldn't start writing until we have some ideas. And then this is a creative title. Creative title. If you're writing about a book, Walk Two Moons, you're not going to write Walk Two Moons as the title. That wouldn't be creative because we know the title of that book. Everybody does. Do you have any questions about the parts of an essay? Raise your hand. Talk to me about them as you're writing your paper. Talk to me, and I can help you work on the parts if you get confused or if you have ideas. Okay, good job. We're ready to write. Thank you for
You're
listening.
writing an essay?